I'm Sergio Gomez. I'm from Perkins+Will, London office. I came here early this morning to talk about new ways of living, and we discussed a lot of concepts for the new designs, for the new interior designs. With this presentation, I'm just going to show you a series of projects that we've done that apply some of those principles. And just to run you quickly, in case someone missed the previous presentation, I work in the EMEA region with William and Joe. We're a global company based all over the world, and our core values are design, expertise, social purpose, innovation, and sustainability. These are some of our clients, and I'm here to talk about, in particular, about the Talent Tower interior design for the office tower. It's great that we have the opportunity to work on that project together with Astana Property Management and Verni Capital. We do extensive interior design, base build, and now we've got Joe Palmer. We're doing mega buildings. So very exciting times for us. So latest trends in interior design. As I said, I'm going to show you a series of projects. This one is News Corp. It's based in London. News Corp is taking up an entire building, which is called The Place, just next to the Shard. The entry, it's a very muted entry, and it's because of the nature of the client that they manage different newspapers. Every floor is going to be different, so the entry needed to be very muted. So we find spaces in this project like this one, which is an arrival point into one of the floors, where activities merge, where we see new dynamics happening in the floor plate of an office space. Here we've got the tech bar together with some quick collaboration, quick touchdown points with technology. We've got what we call the market, which is sort of the cafe, the space for socializing, all integrated into one space. It all opens, and really the energy of this space and the energy of the activity here is just something that we hadn't seen before. We put together this sort of variety of work settings to enhance that choice to the users, so people can use the booths, use the tables to collaborate, use the grouping of armchairs, or get into a meeting room within a very small space. So it's about giving that choice. It's about giving that variety of furniture and of options. This is what they call the library, and this is a very interesting space in the sense that it's a reinterpretation of the library. Nowadays we use technology to read, to scan through information. So the traditional library has become less of a use. So this is an interpretation of the library almost as a feature wall, but you see people using the technology to access the information. Also, as a nice touch, they've got the typewriters in the table. So it's about personalizing the space as well as giving it the right function. This is the Lloyd Project Digital, which is about work and play. It's about that fusion of work and life in the workspace. Very successful project. So the desking grid is broken here. There is no that rigid desk grid, even though there is that functionality that we will normally find on a desk. in many of these spaces. Again, another IMG Media, another project where work and play was really important, and teamwork. And as we were talking earlier, teamwork is constructed through the collaboration, through the personal interaction between people, and favoring that interaction in a more relaxed environment. It's very beneficial to the workplace and to many of the business. Google Athens. We all know Google. We all know they always push the boundaries in the new trends, in the new use of spaces. But even Google is getting very good at setting the workspaces. They're setting a very good menu for the workspaces for their global operations. KPMG is a project that it's in process. They're going a step forward, and they're putting together spaces like this one, which is some sort of a forum where employees get together. They can share experiences. They can meet. They could be a town hall. And interconnects floors. It allows for that mobility. So a lot of the concepts from my previous presentation are built into these spaces. Again, choice it's the recurrent theme. This is Ernst & Young. This is a client space, but still it's a flexible room, which could be rearranged. It's upgraded to a higher standard. This is the same area. You do see, even in client spaces, you do see this need for collaboration, for informal meetings. People, more and more, we see our clients concerned about their clients or their counterparts coming to a meeting and then going. Is that in-between space where people live in a meeting room, interact, that they talk more informally about what they just talked formally into the meeting room, and sometimes those are the most productive conversations, and they're very willing to encourage that. But again, some of the traditional principles of interior design when designing a client space are still valid, which are high quality materials, nicely detailed, well structured spaces. This is Liberty. Specialty market, which is a mix of a collaborative space and a high-end space. It's built for traders. Traders come here and interact. Traders from different companies come here and interact. And it needed to be of a high standard to meet the expectations of those traders. But at the same time, it's an open plan, and it's set up for informal collaboration. And in that same space, again, vertical connection is very, very important. And the addition to that vertical connection of services, like it would be a breakout area at the bottom of the stair or a cafe at the top of the stair, it just activates those spaces. It makes people move around the building, and it contributes to the well-being of the employees. And this is just another example of what it will be the market typology. But really I'm here to present you a little bit our work in the Talent Towers project. We work together with, as I say, with Standard Property Management and Verdi Capital in developing the interior design for the office tower. Basically, the areas within our scope are the common areas in the ground floor and all the common areas on the floor plates and the two top floors. And the essential concept for the ground floor, it's about dealing with architecture. We are given a very architectural space and very generous space, and we're just using true materials and true architectural moves to establish a connection between all the elements. So the inspiration on this space is really purely architecture. And the way we handled it was we've got a series of columns, we've got a huge volume that then transitions into a lower volume that then takes you into the lift. So it's about the journey and it's about the articulation of all the elements. We're using the materials to help us on that sense. So for example, we're using the metal to create those metal frames that connect all the columns and connect the almost 10 meters stone wall, and make it sort of unifying both sides of the whole. And all of a sudden, once we've done that, the ceiling and the end wall becomes the infinite. It becomes the sky. So it's all about making architectural moves to gain in the feel of the space. So the ceiling and the back wall, in order to achieve that feel of the sky, that feel of infinite, we're looking to use backlit glass. So it's reflective, but it also provides daylight. So in a way, is your new sky within the interior space. The stone is helping us producing a very monolithic feel to the space and tying together the elements. And the timber, it's the material that appears when we're bringing the scale down. We're creating a more human scale space, and we're transitioning into the lift lobby. Within that timber area, we've introduced what we call an art gallery, sort of as part of that transition. So, oops, it all went all the way. So this is just another view of that space. The stone wall reappears at the back to sort of create that closeness of the elements. We're working with a few proposals on what the artwork is going to be for that art wall next to the seating group. And we want to introduce, this is a very honest space. This is a very honest design, and we want to keep that honesty on the truth of the material. So we're exploring glass, we're exploring liquid metal in those as used as an art wall for those spaces. This is another view of the transition space. Again, the timber is sort of the element that brings the warmth to the feel, and then into the elevated lobbies, which is it brings back the idea of the lit ceiling from the main lobby. That's just the typical lift lobby using the same palette, and then going into the office floors. We're using very simple concepts, very simple materials, in a very well detailed way, and in a very well organized space. And that's what was most important to the client. It needed to be simple, it needed to be well detailed, and it needed to be the right proportions of the space. And we worked together with Bernie Capital in getting that across. And it gets across in the honesty of the materials and the spaces. This is just a typical office. So again, I want to thank you, everyone, especially Bernie Capital and Astana Property Management for having invited me here and for the opportunity to have worked in such a great project. Thank you very much.